Good day, everyone. Welcome to PMGT1865, the Project Time, Cost, and Resources course. I'm Dr. Kumaran Murugan. I'm the academic lead for the course, and Dr. Jin and I will be guiding you through this course and over the semester. Today's session is all about setting the scene. We'll introduce about the unit, what are the topics that we'll be covering, and give you a clear understanding of what to expect and how to get most out of this course. Okay, let's get into the topic. First and foremost, we acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, the people as the traditional custodian of our land, Australia, the Gadigal of Eora Nation, or the traditional custodian of our local area. Okay, let's begin with some quick introduction and move on to the unit overview and the topics. As this course is about project time, cost, and resources, today we will also touch different stages of project lifecycle, the planning process in various contexts, and how to develop a project scope. By the end of the session, you should have a better understanding or sense of how the unit is structured and the key themes we'll explore. This unit introduces students to a wide range of project planning tools and methods, starting from work breakdown structures, the milestone planning. We'll cover the organizing network planning, the scheduling techniques such as critical path and performance measurement, and we'll also cover cost estimation and project procurement. And on the tool side, we'll introduce you with the IMS project, how project activities or can be scheduled in MS project. And the goal is to help you understand how to balance project time, cost, and resources while considering the impact of potential risk on your project outcomes. So that's the key objective of this unit for your study. This slides here shows about what is the learning outcomes that you'll be expecting from this course. Here, what we aim for you to achieve is you'll learn to explain how organizational functions affect project planning, compare project implication across context, and understand different scheduling formats. And you'll also gain hands-on experience in developing precedence networks, estimating efforts and cost, creating budgets, and performing risk assessment as well. Ultimately, you'll be able to make an informed and strategic project decisions, even with emerging technologies like AI in mind. So that's the learning outcome that we expect you to gain from this course. Okay, this is your schedule overview for the course. Let's take a quick look at the structure of the unit and how the weekly schedule will unfold. We have a total of 13 weeks to cover the important topics of project planning. This includes your quiz and group presentation work as well. The course follows a progressive build-up, starting from foundational concepts such as your project planning, your project schedule, and discussing about work breakdown structure. We'll introduce you with the network diagram and covers the basics of resource planning and moving towards an applied skills in resource planning, cost estimation, and we'll give you a case study about procurement in projects. Keep an eye on all the key milestones like the quiz and assessment along the way, which is most important for you guys. That gives you an marking based on how well you perform on the presentation. Thank you. As you know, projects are essentially coordinated efforts to deliver something unique, a service or product or result. To manage them effectively, we rely on structured methodologies. So we'll explore various frameworks with a focus on PMBOK. PMBOK is called the Project Management Body of Knowledge, particularly the waterfall method, and this gives us a systematic approach to manage time, cost, and resources. In this slide, you see about the project lifecycle. According to PMBOK, there are 5 phases of lifecycle. They call it initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closure. Initiation is about how you define your project objectives, define your project scope and the deliverables. as well as you identify your stakeholders and obtaining any formal authorization of approvals to proceed on your project, like setting up your budget. You look onto your stakeholders, who's responsible for those deliverables, and you get identified, and you do the project scoping at the initiation stage. The planning stage is focused on developing a comprehensive plan that outlines your goals, your task, your activities, your timelines, your resource budget, including your risk management. Execution is about the implementation of your project plan, which involves how you're going to carry out your plan, how you're going to manage your resource, your budget, and producing the deliverables. Monitoring and controlling, as you know, it's about involving project progress against the plan, identifying and managing various issues that you encountered in the project, and making adjustment throughout the projects to make sure that the project is on track. So that's your monitoring and controlling phase. Obviously, the closing phase is formally you're closing the project, making sure that documentation has been done, stakeholders have been engaged, about the milestones have reached. You make sure that the milestones have reached, and you look onto the lessons learned and documenting all those lessons learned for the next project managers of this project, to make sure that the same issues won't be occurring in the next project. So that's your closing of project. These phases help you break down complex efforts into manageable stages and provide clarity on what needs to be done, who, and by whom. Each stage builds up upon the last, creating a logical flow of delivery. So if you look at the initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and control, and closing, it all flows as a logical, so that all the tasks and activities have been identified in your initiation and planning stage, how it's been executed, how your issues or risk has been addressed, and then how it's been monitored, and obviously how it's closed. That's how you do the project planning phase. Yep. In this slide, you see the 10 knowledge areas of project management as defined in the PMBOK guide as per the 6th edition. This represents the core technical subject areas essential for effective project management. Each knowledge area contains a set of processes relevant to that specific discipline, contributing to the project success. So each knowledge area typically spans multiple processes within the life cycle groups: initiation, planning, execution, and monitoring, controlling, and closing. And it includes specific processes and tools and techniques for managing the effective project management of the project. If you look at the knowledge area, for example, we look at the scope management, the second one of knowledge area, so which is defined as it defines what work is to be done, and it's included in the project, and controls project boundaries. So similarly, schedule or time management, it talks about the how would you prepare a plan, how would you define and manages time closely, and how would you use the work breakdown structure to identify all the activities those are needed to achieve your project. So similarly with cost management, you have to estimate your resources, your budget, your communication management, your risk management and procurement, so on and so forth. Here is how the PMBOK 6th edition organizes project management activities across both processes groups, knowledge areas. Think of process groups like phases, like initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and controlling, and closure, and the knowledge area as categorized like integration, scope, time, cost management. Together, all this provide a comprehensive framework. Can you please have a look at the highlighted topics? These are the topics that we will be covering in our class, and this will explain you how, for example, how to develop a scope plan. How do you write a scope plan? How do you create a WBS? We'll come to know how we develop a schedule, and then you do the cost management. What are the process and the techniques that's used for cost management? We look onto the procurement planning as well, and so on and so forth. This I talk about the PMBOK, the 7th edition, which is a latest version. This has shifted away from process group and knowledge areas, and instead of that, it introduces performance domain. So it looks at rather than how you do a process, how you action, it gives you why and what is the performance domain that you need to look onto it. So the performance domains are the key domains which has been stated as stakeholder, team management, development, planning, project work, delivery, measurement, and uncertainty. Each of these performance domain will tell you why you're doing this, what is the outcome that you're looking at. So it emphasizes mostly on the principle and the performance domains. This reflects how modern projects are increasingly has to be agile, flexible, and adaptive to change, aligning better with real world practice. Well, planning isn't just an academic exercise, it directly correlates with project success. It helps improve efficiency, reduce risk, and create alignment among stakeholders. Strong planning sets your project up for smoother execution and better outcomes. Yep. So why planning is important? This article from ABC News illustrate just how poor planning, even in a mature project environment, can cost you more cost and delays and scope creep. Planning isn't just an important process, it's an essential project part of project management. A good planning and continuous monitoring can help or make or break a project progress. While the fundamentals of planning apply broadly, different industries and organizations require tailored-made approaches. Project planning is different organizations can vary significantly depending on industry, organization, maturity, the structure that they are using, and the project management methodology in use. Different sectors like construction, IT, healthcare, and finance require tailor-made project planning approach due to the distinct challenges, technologies, and regulatory landscape. For example, if it's in construction management, you need to have kind of a waterfall method. You need to have a strict process. Whereas in IT, you need to have changes. You need to be more agile so that the change in the technology can be incorporated into your IT project. So, and for example, if you're looking at a government infrastructure project, we'll have a vast different planning needs compared to a startup or technical startup organization. In this unit, it will help you understand and navigate those differences. You'll be able to understand which type of project needs which type of methodology. Yeah. In this slide, what we are looking is the project management methodologies. What are the different type of methodologies is in the market? There are a number of common project management methodologies or used as a guidelines for managing project. The table below highlights a variety of methodologies and when each might be most appropriate. So for instance, as I said before, for a large construction project, typically follows a more structured and sequential approach like waterfall, while software project, which needs to be more flexible or agile, often benefits from more from agile or a hybrid method. We can examine each of these methodologies to see which of these choices is in detail throughout the unit. So mostly, so for example, we focus on PMBOK here. It's mostly used in construction and engineering or any type of project. We are given an IT where it's more of process based. So there are like 49 processes, different processes according to their 10 different knowledge area which we saw before, and each will provide you a specific outcome in order to make sure that the project gets successful. So similarly, if you're looking at Agile, Scrum, Kanban, these are all different type of methodologies, which is you can use it for different type of projects. For say, for example, IT, which needs to be more flexible. There is a Agile method which gives you, which you have a deliverables in a different stages, in a small different stages. For example, you can do one deliverable in a week. So when any new scope comes in or new technology changes in, you need to incorporate that into your project. It's more highly flexible. So using Agile will help you incorporate that the new change into the system. So depending on which methodologies and which context you want to use, which project you want to use, so you choose your methodology. Thanks. So this slide looks at to project planning for engineering projects. So when planning engineering project, precision and predictability are the critical part of it. So these projects often rely heavily on detailed design, regulatory approvals, and some structured timelines. So we explore how scope, cost, resource planning adapt to technical constraints. So we have introducing at the end of this course, we'll introduce a case study, like a Australian wind farm case study, which is an engineering type of thing. So you need to look at how you can design, what are the regulatory approvals you need to go through in order to set up a wind farm, and what approach you need to work on in order to make sure that you do the project planning, taking into account of scope, cost, time, and resource. So how do you look at the planning for business strategy and transformation projects? So generally strategic or transformative projects like implementing a new HR system in an organization or reshaping organizational culture require a different lens. Um, Planning might be less formalized and more adaptive. Some organization adopt a hybrid approach, as we've seen before, of different type of methodologies, and tailoring planning and delivering to projects type, size, and strategic value. So when you approach or when you're working in a dynamic environment, how would you plan your project? So in fast-moving or unpredictable environment, traditional planning approach might fall short. You might find it pretty hard using a traditional planning method. This slide, which is adapted from Collier et al., shows how planning can be adapted for dynamic conditions, more specifically in where a scope or direction might shift in the midway of a project. So you're working on some IT project and some new technology changes happening. The customer comes back and say, I need to change my project scope. I need to incorporate this, for example, AI technology, which is not being planned in your project. You need to introduce a AI technology. How would you manage that? So in the environment, the environment is more of difficult, or it's hard to predict, and rapid changes happening, and you need to work in guidable like a missile industry, or business case change constantly. In those kind of environment, you need to approach project planning in a different way, not in your traditional way. So that's this is about how would you plan in a dynamic environment. As we have discussed it before in the scope management, you need to, the first stage of project planning is to define the scope. So what is scope? Scope defines what is included and what is not included in the project as well. So this includes the key deliverables, the activities, requirements, and few standards that needs to be incorporated into your project. It also helps stakeholders align their expectation, prevent any unnecessary working creep, project creeping. So if you don't have to make your projects keep on adding more requirements, so that will affect your budget. And the scoping will also help you determine the cost, the time, and identify the activities which we go into the next or the next week of course. In this, how would you define project scope? Here we distinguish between product scope and project scope. Product scope describes the features and functions of deliverable, whereas the project scope describes the work needed to produce it. So it's basically the activities that needed to be incorporated in order to get that deliverable or the product. So both must be clearly defined and documented to avoid any confusion. Scope creep is a common thing, which is more of adding more requirements into your scope, which was already defined in your project. So it is an incremental expansion of project scope, often without formal approval. This could result from poorly defined requirements, tech teams adding different features which may or may not be required, or teams trying to please the client. So the result obviously is going to be your budget blowouts, schedule delays, and increased workload. We will discuss how to identify and control in this course. Alrighty, we have covered a lot today, from the unit subjective to planning concept, scope, and methodologies. Feel free to share your question, doubts, or clarification to me or to Jin. We will respond as soon as we can. And if you have any doubts, any questions you want to go through, please do email us. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much and have a great day.